Hello, how you all doing? The reason why that text is so important, okay, is because this book, which was enacted and adopted and brought into operation on the 29th of December 1937, is a follow-up to this book, Dáil Éireann, alright? What do you see? Official record. It was written in the Irish indigenous text, which the Gaelic League tried to protect. Obviously failed. Okay? Now, that's Dáil Éireann, alright? And ASL, alright? Which is, right? But look, 21st of January 1919. The opening minutes of the Dáil Éireann at 3:30 in the Mansion House. Jen Collier. So there you go. Right? And then there is the 1919 Constitution. And it's written in a very specific text. For a very specific reason. Because this is when we declared independence. There. And the French acknowledged us. La République Irlandaise. Type that into your phone and the translator and it says the Irish Republic. And it's written in that text there first. Then it's written in French and then it's written in English. 3 different texts. Why? Because the French tipped their hat to us. Alright? And it takes in 1916. Do you see that? So this book takes in 1916. Takes in 1919. Okay? But then this was... they brought in the Anglo-Irish Treaty on the 6th of December 1921 and enacted it into the full force of law on the 6th of December 1922. And that remained the full force of law until King Edward VIII abdicated from the throne on the 11th of December 1936. And when he abdicated from the throne, take into consideration he only went on the throne on January of that same year. So when he abdicated from the throne, there was no sitting monarchy. And as pursuant to the proclamation of 1916, where he seizes this moment and she strikes for her freedom. Well, De Valera seized that moment and he struck for her freedom. Okay? And then you have Article 49 within this book here. Okay? 49, which states, let me see now. 49, which states, all powers, functions, rights, and prerogatives whatsoever exercisable in or in respect of Seerstadt Éireann immediately before the 11th day of December 1936, when King Edward VIII abdicated, wherever, or whether in virtue of the Constitution, then the force or otherwise by the authority in which the executive powers of Seerstadt Éireann was then vested and hereby declared to belong to the people. And there it is there in the first national official principal text as pursuant to Article 8. Okay? As pursuant to Article 8, which I will get for you now. This does not read what that reads. The Roman Saxa Burla does not read what the Clo Gaelic reads. Okay? The Irish language as the national language is the first official language. Gaeilge as the national first official principal language. Okay? Principal language. Alright? And then when you go to Article 63, okay? And it says, a copy of this Constitution signed by the Taoiseach, the Chief Justice and the Chairman of Dáil Éireann shall be enrolled for record in the office of the Registrar of the Supreme Court. And such signed copy, it says over here, will, not shall, will be irrefutable, not conclusive evidence, irrefutable evidence of the provisions of this Constitution in case of conflict between the Irish and English texts, meaning that, and that. If there's conflict in that, the conflicts with this, the first national official principal text. The Irish text says shall prevail. But over here it says the Irish text will take supremacy. Will take supremacy. So, first of all, we had the proclamation where we proclaimed a nation. Right? Then we went ahead and forged and came up with our own national parliament, which was Dáil Éireann. Alright, Iris Dáil Éireann. And that first sat at 3:30 in the Mansion House in Ballya in Dublin. On the 21st of January 1919. And there is the 1919 Constitution. And there is 6 articles. And it's written in the first national official principal text. And, right, so text is different in a language. Alright? Okay, there you have the French tipping the hat and acknowledging the Irish Republic, not the Republic of Ireland. Okay? So that came into force, right? This was in force, and then, because of partition of the island and the north, on the 6th of December 1922, creating a statelet called Northern Ireland. Alright? That went on till, as I say, the 11th of December 1936, as pursuant to Article 49 in the National Constitution of Éire. Primary law of Éire. Not Constitution of Ireland, spelt in ASL or BSL, American Sign Language or British Sign Language, which is a foreign language as pursuant to the Chicago Manual of Styles, 17th edition, page 666, and 16th edition, page 575. And then you have brackets and braces. Okay? So that's nothing to do with that. It's an explanation of it, but it's written in. There should be hyphens in between that, all caps, which would make it ancient Latin. But it is not ancient Latin. It is debased Latin because they removed the hyphens. So in turn, that all becomes one big word. And that is called Babel. Babylonian. Okay? The language of Babylonian. The language of the illiterate. The language of the slave class minded. Why? Because they cannot understand words, texts and characteristics written on a piece of paper. Therefore, if you do not understand words, text, and characteristics written on a piece of paper, you have no jurisdiction. Ignorance of law, which is this is the law. Ignorance of law, no excuse, maxim law. So if you don't know your rights, you effectively have no rights. Okay? So, in 1941 then, right, after getting this sovereign independent, they created this under emergency time of war. And on the 30th of May, 1941, I think it was, 1941, the 30th of May 1941, they done the First and Second Amendments. Let me see if I'm correct. And this says, this is a copy of the text prepared in accordance. Is a copy of the text. The text of the Constitution is a copy of the text. So, on the 30th of May, or the 31st of May, is it? Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. There it is down here. 30th of May 1941. And the First Amendment, the 2nd of September 1939. Okay? Which they never, ever, they only read it in the English text. And it isn't pursuant to the Irish Constitution. It should have been written in this. It never has been enrolled in the first national official principal text. Or any Irish. It has never been enrolled. So therefore it is ultra vires, which is a Latin term for illegal. And therefore the powers that they seek is illegal. Okay? And this leads us to this here. So that's all caps, right? With a small h in it. And that is not a language, people. That is not a written or spoken language. That is a sign gesture, according to the Chicago Manual of Styles. The writer's, editor's and publisher's choice, the City of London's choice for teaching in the likes of Eton, alright? And then you go across to the big universities and places like that there over in America. You know, they use it, and it's for the illiterate, because that has nothing to do, that is a signed language. That is actually spoken in a signed sort of language, and then you need somebody to translate it into the English language, which is that. It is not a written or spoken language, it is a sign gesture. And somebody does the sign, and then somebody translates the sign into whatever language, whether it be English, Spanish or whatever, but the sign is still the same. Know who, what, and where you are, people. You know what I mean? So that's why, alright, so we proclaimed the nation on the 24th of January, or 24th of April, 1916, Monday afternoon. Then on the 21st of January, 1919, we declared an independent democratic. And then on the 1st of July, the people by nationwide state plebiscite, nationwide, and people say, oh, but Ulster didn't vote in it. Ulster did vote in it. Donegal voted in it. Okay, Donegal voted in it. Alright, the east of Ulster didn't vote in it. Alright, enacted by the people on the 1st of July 1937. By the people. Alright, and was brought into operation. Full force of law, and still remains the full force of law. Hence why they're looking to change the colour of law. That's a colour of law. That's another colour of law. That's the original 1972. And what do you see what they said in this? Alright? What do you see what they said in this? Apart from the standardised spelling of the Irish text, this text of the Constitution is a copy of the text prepared in accordance with Article 25. It's complete and absolute criminal. Alright? And then if you go into this, which is the 1999 Constitution, alright? And you have Articles 1 and 2. Alright, and I'll show you it here. Now, just a wee second, alright? So, this is the original Constitution, alright? So, look at Article 1, right? Right, hasn't changed, alright? Article 2. The national territory consists of the whole island of Ireland and its islands and territorial seas. And then you see, pending the reintegration of the national territory and without prejudice in the right of the Parliament and government established by this Constitution to exercise jurisdiction, meaning power, over the whole of that territory, the laws enacted by the Parliament shall have the like area, extent, applications of Searstat Éireann and the like extraterrestrial effect. And then there it is there in the first national official principal text. And there is ERA. And that's the only place you'll see ERA written in that text. Okay? The rest then goes into this here. Right? So what do you see? There's the 1942 original Constitution. There's the standardised text of Irish, and look what they've done. And they've done the same over here. Okay? And then they've done the same up here. Look, that's the 1972. The 1972. Alright? And then they've done the same up here. Alright? But you notice, there's 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3, and they're all on one page, but they're all on one page, and Article 4 is in the first page of the 42 and the 72, but only 1, 2 and a part of Article 3 are on the first page, right? So that doesn't make sense. And then you go over here, right? And what do you see? And then you have finish of Article 3. Now look how many lines is in that, people. Look how many lines is in that, right? Look. And then, there, I'm with, look, you have Article 3.2 now. There's no Article 3.2 in that. There's no Article 3.2 in that. And there's definitely no Article 3.2 in the original. You know. So they're talking about a united Ireland, right, under the Crown, after signing the Good Friday Agreement, which brought out this piece of fucking royal blue shit under the Crown, right? You just look at the Royal Standard. They're only after burying the Queen, people. The bottom left of the Royal Standard, that's on it there. You're under the Crown, like. That's not under the Crown. Okay? That done away with the Crown establishment, but under emergency time of war, when they suspended the Constitution, they suspended that on the 2nd of September 1939, and they brought in this piece of fucking shit here, which is a copy of the text, and this was when they started reincorporating the state. Then they brought out this here, and they fucking sold us to fucking Europe in 1972. Articles 3, 4 and 5, or Amendment 3, 4 and 5, right? And then in 1998 and 99, they brought out this piece of shit, alright? But in 1948 and in 1949, they brought out the Republic of Ireland Act. We are the Irish Republic, not the Republic of Ireland. We are not the Republic of anything. We are the national territory of Eire. It is the Irish Republic. And that's the whole island. Its seas and its territorial islands. You know what I mean, like? What part of that do you not get, Irish people? And you're just sitting arguing about constitutions in 1919. That is the original 1919. Okay, and I've got the minutes for the treaty as well. It's 1921 to 1922, where they brought in partition. But then Devil Air sees for the moment, otherwise we'd have been stuck in that contract until 2022, the 5th of December, midnight 2022. The 99-year rule ran out, land lease ran out. Northern Ireland is only a statelet within a state named Eire. Republic of Ireland is only a statelet within a state named Eire. Take out your €2 coin, look at it. They still write it that their way every day. Why? Because it's one of the most important things a state can issue, is your passport and your coinage and the Constitution. We are a constitutional republic, and the more people remain ignorant to that fact, the more you're going to remain enslaved. You see, you're doing the government's dirty, or you're doing the government's stupid work for them. Why? Because they're creating no confidence in the Irish Constitution. Therefore, it gives them room in the future when Mary Lou and all win the election here in 2024 or whatever, to call for a referendum in 2026. Then they'll have the referendum in 2028. And then they'll call for constitutional change, which Michelle O'Neill already is. And that constitutional change is for collectivism, Marxism, communism. Okay? And if you read this here, I'm going to read this out. In the name of the most holy Trinity, and from whom is all authority, and whom our final end, all actions of both men and states. It actually says over here in Irish, will be referred. Okay? Will be referred. Alright? We, the people of Era, humbly acknowledging our divine, all of our obligations to the divine Lord Jesus Christ, who sustained our fathers through centuries of trial, gratefully remembering their heroic, unremitting struggle to gain the rightful independence of our nation, which is Era. Okay, Article 4. Article 1. And seeking to promote the common good with due observance and prudence, justice and charity. There's a big couple of words there. So that the dignity and freedom of the, wait for it, individual may be assured. True social order attained, and the unity of our country restored, and concord established with other nations, do hereby adopt, on the 1st of July 1937, enact and give to ourselves on the 29th of December 1937 this Constitution. Right? All those are colours of law, statutory provisions which were made out of that. Alright? So, that's the foundations of the house. That was the fucking gable wall that was built. Alright? That was the gable wall that was built. Let me see. That's the gable wall that was built. That's an hour gable wall that was set on. Alright? Let me see. I can do this. And there you go. And that's what they have done. Yeah, fuck. They have built that all up, and it's all come crashing down on top of it. Well, what do? You don't try and reinvent the wheel. You get rid of the bullshit, and you bring back into action this here. Why? Because if you go to Articles 41, 40, 41, 42, and 43, and 44, which is anything that anybody should only be looking at. Oh, and 45 is a good one as well. Alright? But, you go here. 40. It's fundamental rights. And it talks about inalienable and imprescriptible. Look, the state recognises the family as the natural. Natural is a big word. Natural law is the highest citation of law in the world. It's universal. Natural law. It's God's law. Primary and fundamental unit of society. And as a moral institution of possessing inalienable, which is God-given, can never be annulled, taken away, or rendered by state, and imprescriptible, right? No man can write all our fucking bylaws like statutory laws or provisions or acts or anything which is repugnant to this. Rights, antecedent, meaning before, right? Before, meaning it was here before, and superior to all positive law. meaning statutes, guidelines, acts and regulations, the Constitution of Ireland. You see, if you call that the Constitution of Ireland, you're stupid. Why? Because it's written in ASL. It's written in all caps, okay? You're illiterate if you can read it, okay? And that's because that does not, and let me repeat, does not translate in the Constitution of Ireland. Bun, meaning primary law of Ireland. Of era. Okay? Of era. It's Ireland in the English language. It's Irlandese, as you seen here. Look, Irlandese in the French République Irlandaise, La République Irlandaise, the Irish Republic. Look at the proclamation, the Irish Republic, and that is written in the same text as that. And this does away everything pre-1922 and 1922 and brings back in everything from 1921. And so that brings in this year, 1920. This brings in this. So it brings in the 1919 Constitution, the founding documents of the state. Bonracht dollar earn. Irish dollar earn. Irish dollar earn. That's what this place was. Irish dollar earn. Okay? Hope that helps people.